Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt, and I've spent the last few days in the canyons here above Los Angeles with Maserati's Grecale Trofeo, their full-power max attack super SUV. And there's a lot to love about this thing, so I'm here to walk you through everything you need to know about the Grecale Trofeo. Let's get into it. Now first things first, let's cover what's new for this 2024. Well, you get a new steering wheel from last year and you get adaptive headlights as standard. And of course, as you might expect, you get a couple different colors and options. And we'll talk about this blue color in a bit. Well, what about the competitive set? What does this Grecale Trofeo compete against? Well, if you go to Germany and you look at BMW, you can look at something like an X3 or X4M. You've also got Mercedes GLC AMG and Porsche's Macan GTS. And there's the cousin to this, the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio you could compete against. But then what's under the hood? The engine is from, well, it's a derivation of the MC20 supercar. We also had this Netuno engine in the GT, or the Grand Cabrio that we were in the other day. 3 liters, twin turbocharged V6, 523 horsepower. It's a little bit less than in the MC20 and the Gran Turismo, and 457 pound-feet of torque. But 0 to 60 is still good for 3.5 seconds with launch control. Fuel economy in a Modena trim, you're looking at about 21 mpg, so expect a little bit less from this Trofeo. I was getting around 20, just barely getting 20 on the highway, but that was a pretty quick jaunt. And then of course you get up in the canyons and it just likes to drink fuel. But there's also some more fuel efficient ways to get this if you so choose. But overall, I really love the character of the engine. It snarls, it rumbles on idle, and it feels very emotional, which is what I want from a Maserati engine. And then in terms of drivetrain, power goes from that engine through a ZF 8-speed transmission. It's really sharp, it's really nice. Not quite dual clutch, but very, very good transmission, as really all the ZF 8-speeds are that we test. This also has all-wheel drive as standard with an eLSD out back. And the Trofeo gets adaptive air suspension. You get a Skyhook eAdaptive damping set, and the air suspension allows for 3 inches of travel to account for the off-road mode. Yes, it has off-road mode in your Maserati Italian super SUV. But it has so much character, probably the most in the segment when you're actually driving it. The snarl from the V6 you don't get from Germany, and the farts or the braps that you get on upshift from the transmission is just so much fun. It definitely rides a lot better on the street than something like an X3 or X4M, and maybe similar to the Porsche with the PASM system. But it does feel relatively buttoned up at the limit. Here in the canyons, it's been a lot of fun to drive. It is fairly big, it's a little heavy, but that's what you get with an SUV. But overall, it's nice and dialed in from a performance perspective, which is what you want from something wearing a Trofeo badge. And then in terms of styling, I really like the look here. It's just aggressive, it's expensive, it looks exotic, and it just has a more personality than something from Germany. I do like the classic Maserati grille up here. You get the fang at the front, classic blue Maserati logo up there, but then the trident in your grille houses all of your radar stuff. But this has a carbon fiber package, that's hard to say for some reason, but you get the front splitter, you get a carbon side skirt, and looking at your headlights, of course LED, the full adaptive set as standard, as we talked about. But look at this paint. This is the blue Intenso paint, and it is intenso, isn't it? Really, really cool. Love this color. But moving around to the side, we take a look at the wheel. Of course, gloss body colored wheel arches, but these are the upgraded, I think it's $3,300 for these Furosere matte black wheels, and they look really, really cool. They're wrapped in Bridgestone Potenza aggressive tires, 255s up front, 295s in the back. But I do love the red brakes. That's a little bit of an add extra, but these wheels, very, very cool. I like this detail. It makes it feel a little bit more race car, feel a little bit more special. And then up here on your front fender, classic Maserati fashion, triple gill, and Trofeo, you'll see, get that off there, is rimmed in red because that is exclusive to the Trofeo and it signifies that you got the fast one. But backing out, we'll take a look at the profile. Very classic SUV shape, a little bit of a tapered roofline over here, but it does look very good, this paint. You've got some black details for your door handles or door grabs, and some black details for your window treatments. And I like this little trident detail that you get on your C-pillar. Again, the red signifies that you got the Trofeo or the fast one. And then backing out, the rear 3/4 is very handsome, very sculpted and elegant, a little bit less aggressive and more expensive looking. Very simple taillights, the Maserati script in classic fashion with the fang. And of course, what would Trofeo be complete with without a carbon fiber diffuser and a quad-ish exhaust? But overall, I think it looks really cool. It's got a lot of personality and a lot of style, as you'd want from your Italian SUV. And then we'll check out the trunk. It is, of course, powered in a slightly dramatic fashion, but you do have the buttons to not only close, but close and lock. I do like to see that. The space itself, 20 cubic feet. That's slightly bigger than the Macan and its GTS trim at least, and it is going to be smaller than really anything from BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, but it's not like it's impractical. I think it's also a hair bigger than its Stelvio cousin. But you've got a little channel system in here to mount things. You can fold the seats from the rear. You've got some grocery bag hangers, some LED lights, and again, you've got some chargers and a household outlet back here. You've got some straps, so there is plenty of utility, I would say, from the trunk. So overall, not a bad place, just a little bit smaller than some of the Germans. And then we will check out the rear seats, starting with the door cart. There's no window shade, maybe a little bit of a ding would be nice, but fully leather wrapped pretty much all the way down until you get to about here. Really nice red stitching and then lacquered carbon fiber, even in the back. Knurled push button releases for your door handle, and then the aluminum Sonus Faber speaker grills. But the space here is actually pretty good. Worlds bigger than the back seat of a Macan, of a Stelvio. You do have the ability to recline a little bit, not a lot, but a little. And I really like this two-tone red and black interior. I like that it's a darker, more Merlot red rather than a bright cherry racing red. You do have some embroidered Maserati tridents, but I'll get in the back. I am 6'1", several inches of knee room in front of me, huge panoramic roof. You pay a little extra for that, I think. But even with the panoramic roof, I'm not hitting my nub on the very nice and very soft suede headliner. You do have a climate zone back here. You've got heated seats back here, vents, chargers, the whole nine, and just overall, really nice attention to detail, very luxurious feeling even in the back seats, with plenty of room for 6-footers. And then we'll check out the front seats, of course, and it's much the same story. The same really nice embroidered trident, the same really nice red and black. You do get heated seats up front as well, like you do in the back, but you also get cooled seats up front. You'll get memory for a couple people. The only slight ding is that you don't get massage. I don't know if I expect that at this price point or from this kind of tier, but maybe it would be a nice thing to just throw in. But overall, the seats are really comfortable. They're nice and bolstered down here, so they are performance-oriented while still being comfortable. So I like the seats here. And then I just want to touch on the cabin experience because it is really, really nice. Very opulent. It feels very unique and really bespoke compared to something that you would get in Germany. It feels really special. Everything is leather wrapped. This is the Furosere full leather interior, so full leather on the dash, even with perforations. You miss out on that little Italian flag detail that we had in the Grand Cabrio, but you do get a Maserati detail here on your center console knee rest area. But if it's not covered in leather, it's covered in carbon fiber. I think it's the Macro Twill $1,800 option, but everything is either aluminum or plastic chrome or leather, but it feels really nice. Look at the squish here on your center console. You've got some storage up here, but it's very, very well done. Nothing creaks, nothing rattles, and the build quality seems very, very good. And the steering wheel looks really cool and feels good in your hand too. And then in terms of your technology, it's super robust, the stack that you get here. Big full color 12-inch head-up display. You can get nav instructions in there. You can get your fully digital instrument cluster you control through here, so you can get your torque for your all-wheel drive, tire pressure, G meter, compass, all that sort of stuff, media. And then your center, also adjustable, and you can even change the overall look of the cluster itself. Evolved. Oh, evolved sounds very, very, well, I was going to say pretentious, but that sounds rude. Anyway, you do have dual screens over here. I guess you should say triple screens, but the upper one is going to be largely for your media, your navigation. You get CarPlay, Android Auto, wired or wireless, whatever you want. You got a vehicles page here, so you got performance pages, so you can track your turbo, boost pressure, oil pressure, torque, live telemetry readouts, that sort of thing. You got drag race, so you can keep track of your 0 to 60 or 0 to quarter mile times, whatever. Apps, You can swipe down. It's nice, it's nice. Hit the reverse button. Oh yeah, your shifter is buttons. It works better than it did in the Grand Cabrio, interestingly. They're more responsive. Maybe that's just a one-off thing, but your 360 camera looks good. I wish that it wasn't an additional $900 on top of an already $110,000 base MSRP, but it's a nice camera. And then your screen down below. This is 12.3, this is 8.8, but this is all of your climate and comfort stuff. So you can adjust your seats down here, your headlights down here, downhill assist, air suspension, ride height. You've got ambient light, but only 3 different tones, so really no colors. You can also turn it off if you want, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But you've got heated seat, cooled seat, heated steering wheel, all the good stuff here in your lower screen for your climate stuff. But my favorite thing about this is this button here, because that controls your clock, which is cool because you can make it look a couple different ways. Classic Maserati clock, sport, design, more modern looking. But you also have a compass option, so you can make it look like a compass. You can get telemetry for your brakes and throttle, and you can even have a G meter. So really cool. I do like this. Every luxury car has to have a clock on the dash, but Maserati making it digital means you can have some fun with it. And you do have the blue Maserati start-stop button like you'd see on your steering wheel, and this button controls your drive modes. And you have an off-road mode, which is kind of funny. And you can even go so far as to go to your My Car, Drive Mode Explorer, and you can see what the off-road mode does to things like your responsiveness, your stiffness. It'll also air out your air suspension, so you get 3 inches of travel from all the way down to all the way up. So you can go to off-road 2, air this thing way up, or you can have it in stealth, squat, slammed mode in Aero 1. But just kind of funny to have an off-road mode on your Italian SUV that says Trofeo on it. And this Grecale Trofeo, like the Grand Cabrio that we were in the other day, has the Sonus Faber audio system, but where it was $4,000 there, it's only $2,800 here. So you save a bit of money in the Grecale, as you might expect. And then finally, in terms of price, the Grecale Trofeo in Max Attack full power trim like we have here starts at $110,000. That's like $30,000 more than X4 or X3M from BMW. It's also more than the Macan GTS, surprisingly. Porsches are usually big money, but so are Maseratis. Now, as tested, this is $130,000, and yes, that does make it comfortably one of the most expensive in the class, but it also has some of the most personality in the class. So I'll show you what I mean as we grab the keys and go for a bit of a drive. Hey guys, real quick, Matt here. Just wanted to say I hope you've been enjoying the video. If you have, would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does go a long way in helping us get access to cars sooner and get access to manufacturer engineers so we can get more information on the cars and get you more information so you can make better decisions. So would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe, like, comment, the whole YouTube thing. But with that, let's get back to the video. Grecale Trofeo. I love the farts. This has been a very fun car. Now in the canyons here, it does feel like an SUV. It's big, it does have air suspension, and it's got the Skyhook eAdaptive dampers. And it's not like it's a mess, but it does feel heavy. It does move around on its suspension a bit. But the power and the drama, it's the full throttle shifts. It's just fun. The gearbox is fun to play with. It's very turbocharged and spooly and peaky, and it snarls. It's really just fun. It's a fun thing. It's not here to set lap times. It's here to paint a smile on your face. And I think it does that really well. Brakes are excellent. Chassis control is good. It's just not a supercar, which is fine, because the alternative is when you take it out of the canyons and put it back on the road, throw it into comfort or GT mode, it's really comfortable. Like noticeably more comfortable than an X3, X4M, than a GLC 63, maybe similar to a Macan GTS, the one that we tested. I think that one had air suspension as well. So it does really well on the road, but it's kind of the engine that becomes the centerpiece because it does have the snarl. I know people were concerned, especially with the GT that we were in earlier this week, that, oh, the V8's gone and it's gonna lose its character because of it. I don't really think so. I mean, there's definitely a charisma to a V8, especially an Italian V8, that you'll miss a little bit. But the Netuno V6 here, it rumbles at idle. It's got a great snarl. The 8-speed box here works really well. It's a fun car to drive. And it looks the business. It looks cool. It's oozing and dripping style. It's pretty well built from what I've seen. It's a good car. I'm having a lot of fun here in the canyons. So thank you to Maserati for letting me have a go in your Grecale Trofeo. Thank you to you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Long sweeper into 5th. What a day. What a day.